What is going on? I am Cole, and I'm here to talk to you about my most anticipated comics for March 23rd, 2022, and I'll get to those right after this. My most anticipated comics for March 23, 2022. Thank you for coming back through the intro. For those of you who have been here before, I like to start this off kind of the same way every single time. But for you that are new, this is kind of for you. So I use a product called League of Comic Geek. It is a website. They have an app, and I use this to figure out which comics are coming out during this week. So I like to start this segment with, in case things are wrong, there are delays, there are issues in shipments. I know that I talked about this book, Frankenstein Jailbait and the Jailbait Punks, before, and things just get pushed back. So if you're wondering about the books that I picked and why they might not be at your shop next week, don't tell your shop owner, hey, Cole told me the wrong comics. The issue is there are sometimes delay. This is where I grab my information for these weeks. So I just want to let you know where I do it. You can also go there, set up your own polls. It'll even calculate how much money you get. You can figure in what your shop uses for discounts of pre-orders, and you can even add in sales tax. I really like the site, and it makes it easy for me to figure this out, but I do like to start it off that way, just in case there are delays or something I tell you just doesn't come out that week. And that's just kind of how it works sometimes in this industry, unfortunately. Since COVID, there has been a lot of paper delays and a lot of weird shipping issues, so that is how I get my information, and I just want to let you know in case for whatever reason it doesn't match up with what you see next week. All right, and for spec recommendations, I didn't see a ton of stuff that really screamed out, but I've been kind of molding the spec rec and the cover selection together, and one of my favorite covers that is coming out is a book that I'm going to buy, even though I've already read it, and I didn't really love the book, but this cover is so fantastic, I think I might still pick it up, and that is We Have Demons #1, the Peach Momoko variant. I am a huge Peach Momoko fan. I know that I talk about her a lot, and I really love her artwork, and I think this is a very fantastic cover because it definitely showcases her work a little bit more. A lot of the times there's just kind of that white background. This one has a lot more going on, and I think it's a fantastic pick. I know that if my shop has this, I'm definitely going to pick this up. Let me know down below if you have a favorite cover pick for this week, or if there's something coming out that just screams a spec recommendation for you. I didn't see too much from what I could see, but this cover just really stood out for me. Now it's time to get into those books. So the first book that I'm most anticipated, this one's going to be on every single list that I ever do, and that is Saga #57. I mean, it is almost unheard of that I won't put this book on, but I love it. I'm so happy this book is back. It has been, a while, and the last 2 issues were so good. I'm excited to see where we go. We were left with a cliffhanger, which we kind of get a lot with this book, but it's been really grinding, and it's been going through, and I love it. Are you as excited about Saga being back as I am, or am I just overreacting because this book is such a good book to me? I know that, some people did not like the way that last issue ended, but I think that's kind of been what Saga just did. They kind of push boundaries. They say things that, might be not necessarily always like PC enough, but I don't think that, it's not really coming from a bad place, I don't think either, but that is just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know, because maybe I, am underreacting about some of this stuff. But what did you think about the last 2 issues of Saga, and are you excited for issue 57? Also, did you fill out the survey for 56? Because I didn't. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you're here, make sure that you leave a comment down below, because if we get 15 comments, I usually add another book into the pile of stuff. I try and get a book from each of these weeks to put into a box that at the end of the month, I give away. I think this month might have an extra comic book day, so there might be 5 with a possibility of 10 total books. So make sure you leave a comment down below if you want to get entered in that. If you don't, you also don't have to. And if you're here and you're going to do that, please give it a thumbs up too. But yeah, if we get 15 comments, I will be giving away a extra book along with that. Usually I talk to the person and see if they'd rather have like a run of stuff, some new #1s, if they prefer Marvel, DC, indie stuff. I usually pull something from my collection and send your way. It's usually not new, but sometimes it is some new stuff depending on what you are looking for. Next up, we have Hotel 4. This is volume 2 of Hotel, though. So if you haven't read Hotel and you are into horror stuff, the way that I like to high pitch this is think of the movie 4 Rooms mixed with horror. There's essentially 4 different rooms. Each of them have their own plot, and they all kind of stand alone but mixed together. I thought the first volume did a great job of kind of tying everything in, and I love in the second volume how it's even taking stuff from that first volume and pulling it back in. I know that all AWA trades, to my knowledge, are $9.99. I think they even have a partnership with Amazon, so if your local comic shop can't order these, or you don't live near one, you can still get, I think, a 10% discount off on Amazon. And while I don't usually prefer to give them a shout out, I mean, they have a partnership with AWA, so you might as well take advantage of it. This is the 4th issue for Hotel Volume 2, and I've just been loving this. This kind of hits all the things I love. I love horror books, but I just love a good anthology that still comes back together. And I think John Lees is kind of this perfect author in that space, and he has been doing a great job of really putting together something great. I'm glad that Talajak has been able to come back and do art on this one, because the art in the first one was great. It really paired amazing with it. So have you been reading Hotel, and do you enjoy it as much as me? I think, it is horror, so I know that isn't for everyone, but if you are a horror buff, I highly recommend checking this one out. And now we get a new book. We're starting with the number 1s, and this is only sort of a number 1 because it's kind of a number 3, but this is Trials of the Amazon Wonder Girl number 1. This continues from the Wonder Woman issue and will be continued by another Wonder Woman issue. So there's been a story going on. There has been 3 issues to my knowledge so far at this point. It has been the Nubia one. There's just the Trials of Amazon, and then Wonder Woman. And I actually forgot to grab that Wonder Woman, so I might run out and get it at some point today. To make sure that I get a copy. But yeah, Wonder Girl has been, Yara Flores is one of my favorite characters, and she has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed what's going on so far with this Trial of Amazon. It's kind of a whodunit story, which is another thing I really like. I like crime, I like mystery, and being able to have more Wonder Girl is something that I'm very into. So I've been trying to get any book tied to Wonder Girl so that hopefully we can get another arc of her story, because I know they did actually cancel Wonder Girl, which I personally am pretty bummed out about, because I think that of all the new characters that have came out in a long time, Yara is just one that is really compelling to me, and I think she has a great story, and I think that she could be the next thing. But who knows? We'll see how DC runs this, and hopefully we can get another story. And as you can see right over my shoulder right here, we got a Yara poster, so that's pretty cool. But have you been reading Trials of Amazon? And if you have, let me know what your thoughts are. Once again, I have not yet read the Wonder Woman issue, so I'm 1 issue behind. But I find it very hard that we're getting a new Yara story, and I do not enjoy it. Next, number 1 we have up is Ghost Cage, number 1. This is an all-new, limited length series, and I did not know too much about this. It is writer Caleb Golner, which I have not heard of them, but the artist is Nick Dragata, who does the art for East of West, which I think is mind-blowing, fantastic. So I looked at this cover and I knew I had to get it. And then I know that we're trying to start a new segment on the show that I do with Bruce and Stephanie Comics, which, if you did not know, I have been joining them every other Tuesday to do a live stream. It is at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually do it for about 1 hour. And one of the new segments we're going to bring in is that we are going to talk about a book that comes out the previous Wednesday. And Ghost Cage is the book that we'll be talking about this week. So if you are not subscribed to Bruce and Stephanie, make sure you go over to Bruce and Stephanie Comics, give them a subscribe, and come hang out with us on Tuesday. We'll talk about this book after we've read a preview copy of it and let you know what we think about it. So, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll come back and I'll be like, if you watch my book, I'm sorry I didn't like this as much, but maybe I'll love it too. So we will see. But I think that, you should check that show out. It's a lot of fun. We just ramble on about comics and comic news and just hang out. It's a fun little live stream. So we're reading Ghost Cage number 1, and I forgot to mention this is a Image comic book, and I haven't done this in a while, so let's do it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick 2 Marvel books I'm going to have you tell me which one you think I should get. I think one seems like a book that I would grab, and the other one seems kind of like a silly book. But we'll let you decide which one you think I should get. And the first choice is Venom, Lethal Protector, #1. This is reuniting the original writer of Venom Lethal Protector, David Michelini, I think is how you pronounce that, who did that with Todd McFarlane. He's coming back, and it's supposed to talk about the story of Eddie Brock right before he creates Dylan, I think. And the second book we have is Wolverine Patch #1. This one I think is kind of maybe the more silly of the two. It is written by Larry Hama, who I am not very familiar with. Let me know what your thoughts are on Wolverine Patch and Venom Lethal Protector. I think that if, going into this blind, if I just was going to pick one, I'd pick Venom Lethal Protector, but I am also not the hugest of Marvel fans, so let me know if Wolverine Patch is supposed to be something fantastic. I know that Patch was a character. I think he first showed up in even that first Wolverine, ongoing. I'm not entirely sure, but let me know which one of these two books you think is going to be worth picking up. And once again, if you haven't left a comment on some of the other videos that I did for Most Anticipated Comics, make sure you find all of the ones from March. Make sure you leave a comment, because every individual person who leaves a comment will get entered into the giveaway at the end of the month. I'm sorry this one is probably a little bit short and maybe a little bit more rushed, but I have been fairly busy and it has been hard to release some stuff. I know that next week I should be having a lot of content come out, but I will be out of town for a little bit, so a lot of it will be pre-recorded. Some of it will be shorter than normal, and some of it might be different than some of your normal stuff that you see me do, but make sure to leave me a comment. I'll be out in Vegas, hopefully having a lot of fun, hopefully staying safe. But once again, these are my most anticipated comics for March 23, 2022. I might not actually get them though, because I will be in Vegas and I won't be returning until Sunday, but my shop is closed. So once again, I've been Cole. Let me know what you're most anticipated for this week, and I'll maybe give it a check out if it seems like something up my alley. As always, peace. My most anticipated comics for March 23, 2022.